We pick our way through sleeping villages, down a sandy track to the meeting point of the water's edge in the south of Bangladesh. The fishermen who are taking us across to Myanmar fear being caught. They face arrest and jail. Others have had their boats destroyed. So this mission's done in silence, in the middle of the night. There's a lot of tension. The Bangladeshi authorities have banned all these boat journeys to Myanmar. They want to stem the flow of Muslim Rohingya refugees into their country. But these people insist there is a modern-day genocide happening there, today, right on their doorstep. And they believe they're answerable to a much higher authority. Whatever the boat's condition, they're going to make these journeys. The ban may have made it more difficult, but it hasn't stopped them. No one knows what to expect on the other side. Myanmar's Rohingya Muslim areas have been effectively cut off to outsiders. We're not even certain if the army will prevent us from landing. But as we draw near to the Myanmar shore, there are flashing lights guiding us in.
We have to get off.
Out of the darkness, we see a crowd already gathered.
Look at all these people here. Yeah, all waiting to... How long have they been here? This lady
about over a month to some 2 months.
This lady looks so thin. Ask what's happened to her. Look at the state of her hands, her arms. She can hardly walk. Wait, carefully go. Wow, her arms. Look at her arms. I can put my entire hand round. She is so thin. Is she, are we going to try and get her onto a boat? There are old people. There are babies. Many of them are talking about being here for over a month. Clearly not had very much to eat at all. A lot of them extremely thin and very frail. And all showing extreme signs of desperation. Look.
They want help.
Yeah, they want help. They want help. They're crying out for help.
Women and children are the most vulnerable here, and they've repeatedly told us of being terrorized by the Myanmar military.
Look at all these children.
She's shivering out of fear rather than cold. This is Rakhine State, the centre of the Myanmar military's brutal crackdown. And we are the first outsiders here, the first to independently see what's being denied by the Myanmar authorities. They are desperate. Their hands are outstretched, begging to leave. The wailing is haunting. But no one is listening. Thousands of them are trapped on this beach alone, waiting for help, which has so far failed to arrive.
Yeah, sorry, they're holding on to me and crying. Oh my goodness, these people are literally on weak. Look, that looks. They're incredibly weak. Oh, holding their hands out for help. Some of them clearly very sick.
In the shadows, you can see tents made from plastic sheeting. Some of them have been here for 2 months. They fled here after the Myanmar military stormed their villages and burnt their homes.
The military has taken her husband away. She's got 3 little kids. She's got no money to go anywhere.
The Myanmar soldiers have planted landmines beyond this beach, so thousands are trapped here.
They absolutely have no idea how they're going to get off from this place.
And there are babies too who've been born here on the beach. This one's just 7 days old. But there are many, many more.
How long has she been here for?
There's over a month she's been out here.
There's a 19-year-old who's given birth the day before. Her baby has no clothes and has barely recovered from being delivered.
Is that the umbilical cord? I can't see. She's still got the umbilical cord attached.
Another young one, sucking on his thumb, has a bloated stomach with severe malnutrition. We are their only hope of leaving Myanmar right now. Rows and rows of babies with nowhere to go and no one helping them. The Myanmar authorities refuse independent access here to journalists, allowing them to deny this is happening. They're not waiting any longer for the help which never arrives.
Wow, that's quite a raft.
They've spent 5 days building this out of debris. They'll take another 5 to finish it and try to make it across the water to Bangladesh, floating on this flimsy raft. They take us to see a young man. He's been beaten by the Myanmar soldiers who are forcing them to stay on this beach. His crime? Trying to find fresh water to drink. Our boatman is anxious to leave before the Myanmar military discovers we're here.
Watch this little girl over here. Come.
Many young children seem to be on their own. The captain's anchored some distance away. He's worried about a stampede for the boat, and it could capsize. The crew desperately try to control the crowd. They worry they're being left behind to die. The boat is crammed full. The captain wanted just 15. In the end, there are nearer 30 adults and children on board. Twin boys cling to each other. They're frightened and confused, like so many on the boat. Everyone is exhausted. They're severely traumatized. And they're very, very hungry. The crew give them biscuits and water. For some, it's their first nourishment in days. The journey is long, and they're still not yet safe. The little ones are learning early on. As Rohingya Muslims, they're among the most persecuted people on earth right now. As we draw close to Bangladesh, the captain warns everyone to leave the boat quickly. A tiny bundle of life is gingerly carried to a new beginning. They're hoping here they find some respite, some escape from the trauma of Myanmar. They've been through an awful lot, and somehow they've survived. But it's not over yet. They're running into a country which doesn't want them. They pause in the rice fields to tell us they feel they've been born again. Nothing could be as terrifying as what they've just escaped. But there are a mountain of unknowns ahead of them, and a lot of young mouths to feed. They have their lives, but precious little else. Alex Crawford, Sky News in South Bangladesh.